30s Western. But the whole show is, before every scene ended, they said, "He's coming, get ready, he's coming." You know, it was like that all the whole show. You know? And you're going like, okay, it's about time he gets here because I've been watching this for an hour and a half, so he better show up soon, you know. But Esau is coming. Now, remember, Jacob in chapter 32, he was dealing with a crisis. And that crisis was, he is finally having to deal with what he did to his brother. Right? And so he started preparations. And Jacob is still, even after he's wrestled with God and got the blessings, he's still having a few reactions, right? Well, let's go back and talk about it. Jacob acted the day before. He acted practically. What did he do? Well, he divided his goods into two groups. Why would you do that? Well, he might get this bunch.
He won't get the other one.
He won't get the other one, right? You know? I have a very strange herd of cows. They don't herd together. I actually have really and truly 4 separate groups. I only have 40, but I really have like 4 separate groups of cows. I have the bull and I call them the queen bees, but they're the matrons that hang with the bull. And that's the biggest group. There's probably 12 or 13 in this group. And then I have another group that's about 8 or so. But they're never ever hanging with this group. They're always like in a whole different part of the pasture. Just completely separate. They're not herding together at all. And then I even have a smaller group of like 5. And these 5 all hang together. And they're kind of the wild bunch is what I call them. Because as soon as they see me, like approach, now if they're out in the pasture, they'll stay right wherever, no big deal. But if they're up in the lot getting water and I pull up, all you can see is the heads come up and the tails go up and they're gone. And then I have another group that's about 3. And they don't mix with anybody. Every time I go, they'll be my last group that'll come into the lot. They're just totally, I don't know if they're the outcast or if they smell bad or nobody likes them. I don't know what it is. But it's like a whole different deal. If somebody came to try to take all my cows, they would probably get the big group all without any trouble. That last couple, 3 or 4, they would never catch. They would chase them for a week, and I would never lose all my cows at once. It would, but you know, he was thinking this way. He was going like, "Hey, I'm going to split my stuff. I won't lose everything. I'll have half." Right? So he's still planning ahead. So he was thinking practically. Now Jacob's not stupid. Then he was thinking spiritually. This is still like kind of chapter 32. How was he thinking spiritually? Well, he actually called out to God. He said he prayed to God for help. Right? Turn my brother's heart. Make this go like I want it to go. I shouldn't say want it to go. Make this go where it's not as where I think it is as bad as it could go. And the third thing he did, he acted financially. Now, Esau mentions this. What did Jacob do? I think it's like 550 animals total. But he sent out the best, like sheep, and he put them way out in front. So when Esau was coming, he'd run into this herd of sheep. And the guy that was tending to him, he's supposed to bow down and say, "These are from my master, who is your servant. These are all yours." And then he would run into the goats, and then he'd say, "These are from my," you know. But the main thing was, he always ended that, "from your servant." Okay? So Esau's been marching along, getting closer to the camp, and he runs into this group. I think there was 4 of them. Each time, and each time the servant notices, "These are from my master. These are yours. and from your servant. So he was acting financially. Now, could he afford it? Yes, he could. I really think so. But I think it was important to him to show that he was humbling himself each time Esau came. Now, I think Esau's heart was already turned long before he got there. Don't y'all? I mean, I don't think Esau was coming mad. And we'll talk about signs of this in a second. He prepared lavish gifts for Esau. He's coming. All right. Then, he's coming. He didn't show up as well as I hoped. It is amazing. The Renaissance period and up through about 1800, the paintings and the art that was done, okay? Amazing stuff that was painted. The one thing I can't ever figure out is none of those guys must have ever been to the Middle East, because their paintings were always done and they look like they're from England. The clothes they wear, the hats they have on, the capes they have, all of that. I mean, you can, if you really could see, but those guys are like, they're riding a horse that's all saddled and everything. And it's not really their fault. They probably just never knew what it looked like. But yet, though, this is the scene of Esau and Jacob meeting, and you're going like, whoa, this looks like they met out on the field in the middle of England. Sorry, it was just fascinating.
They're also all very white.
Very Caucasian, yeah.
Very much like Bub's ankles and feet.
Boy, hadn't had any sun.
I'm telling you, that kid has been playing golf. Cannon's been swimming.
Okay, he's coming.
You're observant.
You couldn't miss it. I mean, he just.
I missed it. I wasn't looking.
He's this brown kid to his ankles, then he's white-footed.
I think if he was a horse, they'd call him, he'd had socks on.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. He left his socks on.
So Jacob's latest action was, and let me get them all up here. So what was his action on this day? Well, it tells us right at the start. He said, he sent out his maidservants with their children and put them way out in front. So there's the herds and all of that stuff, and now he sends the maidservants out with their children. Okay, and their names elude me. I don't remember their names, but he sent those two out because there was, never mind, those two are already out there front. And then he sent Leah and her children out there after the maidservants. And then he sent out, yes, my mind just went blank. I'm glad you did that. Then he sent out Rachel. And then he was at the very back. So now, not only has he put all the animals in front of him, then he put all of the family in front of him in an order, and then himself at the back. So my question is, why did the order matter? Why did he start with the maidservants, and then he sent Leah, and then he sent, because you know Leah is the first wife.
But not the favorite.
Easy.
I believe that to be true, Will.
I think you're 100% right.
Waiting for Rachel that long, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably your favorite.
He's going like, I spent 14 years. Yeah, you're it. Who was in the final group?
Rachel and Joseph.
Well, now wait.
That's what it said up there.
Rachel,
It said Rachel and Joseph.
Yeah. Okay, well, but let me ask you this question. Who did the line of Christ come through?
Leah.
Wouldn't that have been a more important group? But wait.
But he didn't know that yet.
Oh, he didn't know that. Oh, wait, one more thing. Without Joseph, the other bunch ain't gonna survive. Remember Egypt?
True.
Okay, so really and truly, maybe Joseph's the most important. He's here. Okay, my grandchildren, when I drive, because I had to go by the house where they're at to get to the farm. And if they're out in the front yard, it is like total excitement when I'm driving up and coming down the road. And I mean, they're waving and they're running and they're waving and mom's yelling at them to slow down and here we're raving. And so I stop and I literally have to stop and get out because I feel like they're gonna run right out there and stop me on their own. Because they are glad to see Papa Dude. That's what they call him. The only thing that's close to that excitement is my dog when I come home. It's like she greets me like I have never been home in 10 years. And I could have been gone 10 minutes.
That is not the way she greets me.
You're not special.
Yeah, clearly.
Not to her.
He's here. Now, let me ask you a question. What do you think is going on in Israel or Jacob's heart right now? Do you think it's beating out of his chest?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he still don't know, does he?
That's why it's climactic. That's why it is climactic.
Oh my gosh.
It's the opposite.
He's not getting the emoji text telling him what he's coming and how he's feeling, right? That was the whole point of emojis, so you could express a feeling and not just send a text and they go, well, I wonder how he really meant that. But you know what? His heart is just pounding. Well, what did Jacob do when he finally could see Esau? What was he doing?
Bowing down to him.
Huh?
Running up and bowing down to him.
Bowing down to him. Why would he do that? What does that symbolize?
Submission, right?
Sign of submission. You really, truly, these chapters ought to be named Submission 1 and Submission 2. Because, he submits to God and now he's submitting to Esau, right? Why did he do it 7 times? Would not once be enough? Okay. Would once not be enough? Well, in my book, if I'm down on the ground and submitting to you right away, I'm thinking that's good, right? What is a complete number in the Bible? 7. Jesus tells us, how many times should you forgive somebody for doing you wrong? 7 times 7. I'm sorry, you're not getting past 3 on me. So, 7 times 7. So 7 means complete, full, total. I'm under your rule. Every time he went down, it was one more submission saying, I am completely under your rule. So it meant something. It was important. The 7, and remember, stuff is not put in the Bible by accident. There's not a reason it's not there or that it is there. 7 meant something. It was complete. And in their time, they knew that. Okay? Why did Esau have 400 men with him? Okay, so
Look into your wife. Oh, you heard
she don't know. So Jacob's heart's pounding. I'm sure it's enough it was just Esau showed up, right? But Esau showed up with 400 men. Now, do you think his heart's just pounding away? I'm bending down, oh Lord, please make sure that he's not here just to destroy us. Please make sure, you know. And Esau gets off and he's running at him, okay? Running at him, still not sure. Why 400 men? So how many men did David have with him? Y'all remember?
Not 400.
He had 400.
Did he?
400 brave men. What was David's best friend's name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Jonathan traveled with 200. The 400 symbolized, that was the number that you would have with you if you were a ruler. And Esau was the ruler of his own kingdom, of his own place. And he traveled with 400 men. That was the number. It was enough men to fight and retreat or defeat, depending on which way it was going to go for you. But it wasn't such a large group that you couldn't travel fast. They settled on the number 400 was the right number. I don't know why, but that's the number. And if you look through history, the number 400 with the group of men was the number. They worked it out through, and I can't remember if I put up here where that. Yeah, Bible Hub. Yeah, that's where I pulled this from. They had the best explanation for it. It was pattern shows 400 of conventional militia size, and the Near East leaders used both the punitive and protective missions. That was the number that they could travel with, and still travel light and fast, but still big enough to fight off the enemy. So he was just traveling with his entourage, is really what I want to say. He went nowhere without the 400. It wasn't he was showing up to defeat Jacob and destroy him. Honestly, Jacob probably had that many men with him too. Probably that many servants and people, if you added them all up, he probably had 400 plus. The reunion. Again, I just love art sometimes because my mom taught art, and I don't know why, but sometimes things pop up and I think about what she told me about stuff and how that this is not in perspective. Sorry, this has nothing to do with the lesson. But it just caught my eye. It's not in perspective. And the reason is because this guy right here if he was in real life, he would be like 10 foot tall. In perspective to everything else. But that's not the point. The guy that did it, he wanted that to stand out. And so-
He's on a rock though.
Yes, he's on a rock, but even if you stood him beside a normal sized person, he would be 2 heads or 3 heads taller than the ones that are just there. And so, like, you see the guy in the background? That guy? He's not in perspective either. I'm sorry, it has nothing to do with it. I quit. The reunion.
First thing that caught my eye was the goat and the cow. If they were that skinny, they didn't get very much meat off of them.
I'm thinking they were needing a good bale of hay that I baled last night, probably. The reunion. How did Esau, what did he do when he got to Jacob? He grabbed him and hugged him and kissed him. Who was needing this reunion more, Esau or Jacob?
I kind of think they both needed it in an equal fashion, but for different reasons.
Okay, what's the 2 reasons you think?
Well, I think Esau needed it because he missed his brother. And he
And that's
missed,
his only family.
right, missed the family. I think Jacob needed it because he needed to understand that Esau didn't have a grudge.
And he needed it to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. He needed forgiveness.
Yeah.
And Esau, I'm gonna use this in my background of life. Esau needed to forgive, right? You've been angry at somebody before, and you've let that anger overflow out. And as much as anything, you need them to know that I was angry and I'm wrong, but you also really and truly deep down hope that they can forgive you for what you've done. Now, God tells us we have to forgive.
Commands us.
We have to. Now, my begrudging heart, I don't know if I can follow through all the time on that. Especially if you harmed my family. It wouldn't be an easy way to do that. But we're told to. The funny thing about this reunion is both of them needed it for different reasons. Both of them were relieved when that they saw each other. When they finally got together, it was like a weight was lifted off of both of them. And it was like, now we can get on with life. Right? Awesome. But then there's a little incident that takes place right after that. Yes, sir.
I want to interject because I just want to say this. In my mind, forgiveness is for you psychologically, even though Jesus does command us to forgive so your Heavenly Father will forgive you. But I think it also helps your heart be soft. So I just want to say that.
It gets rid of the anger that you hold towards someone else. And it's not for them. It's for you. I agree 100%. You're saying the right thing. Isaac goes, hey, what's the deal with all these animals? And the servant, everywhere I came along, he's going, Esau, what's the deal? He's going like, man, hey, what the heck? He says, and all these, I don't need it. I got 400, I got my own, I don't need it. Keep them. So what did Jacob do? He goes, please, take what I offer you. I'm your humble servant. Let me do it. I mean, he was eloquent in how Jacob told him to take it. And basically, I kind of put up here, it says, I can't take the gifts. Y'all heard this before, right? This is going. And yes, you can. And it's too much. Right? It's too much. Yes, you can take the gifts. Well, if you insist, okay. It was an unwritten law. If the person giving the gift told you that you had to take it, it was a complete insult not to take it.
Still is.
Still
Yeah,
is.
pretty much.
And it really goes, I mean, we're talking, this is Genesis, this is going on. So that's been that way all along. And Alan, how did you phrase it? If you don't take the gift, you're not allowing them to have the blessing, right?
Denying him the blessing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that was my mother's statement. She said, if you don't receive the gift, you
Rob them of their blessing.
steal their blessing.
Oh, you steal the blessing.
Their
Yeah.
joy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, she and my dad were mean, they weren't wealthy by any stretch. In fact, most of the time they were the opposite, but they struggled with receiving gifts. And for a very long time, my mother had to learn that lesson. And I think when she told Vicki and I that, it was, you know, an attempt to keep us from having to learn it. You know, just take my advice. Took me 50 years to learn this. Just listen to me. And I still struggle with gifts. I'm not good at just saying thank you. Even when somebody just wants to buy my dinner. It's, you know, you don't have to do that, you know.
I try to tackle them when they get up to go.
Yeah,
to the box.
exactly. You know, Mark was going for a to-go container now. I was going to tackle him so he wouldn't pay the bill. You know, it just...
If I'd have known that, I'd have just kept running to the front door.
Yeah. But you know, it's just, I struggle with that personally. And I have to remind myself. And so when we think about this story, I think about it very differently. Esau saw the gifts, I think, in that light. These are lavish gifts being offered. Did Jacob really offer them that way? I mean, or was Jacob, what was Jacob trying to do with the gifts? Buy off his brother or ease his conscience? Or both?
Maybe both.
I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna use that he tried to buy him off. I think he was trying to soften Esau's heart as he came.
That didn't work.
But,
He was deceitful, dude. Like, he
Yeah.
was
but now wait,
Yeah.
that plan was before he wrestled with God.
True.
That was the plan before he
Okay.
wrestled with God.
Okay.
Okay? After he wrestled with God, the only thing he did is he put the family out there like in order.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know his heart. I'm just
Yeah.
telling you what I was kind of
Right.
thought about. Because I've thought, this is terrible. I think about this most of the week. Because, you know, like I read the next chapter ahead or whatever,
Mhm.
and it's not like I research it, but I just kind of think about it. And the more I think about Jacob's heart, I really think he's a changed man.
Hmm.
And I think he offered this as a show of his earnestness for forgiveness. That, not really buying it, but I'm not just saying forgive me. I'm saying it with my wealth. Here, forgive me. But
So what was the rule? You know, Zacchaeus went beyond the rule when he gave half of everything he had to the poor, and if he had wronged someone, he was going to give back how many times?
Four times.
4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the rule was less than 4, but I don't remember what the rule was. And that's kind of
one of my commentaries brought Zacchaeus up in this.
okay.
And he was talking about that. And I think
That's
I don't
a tax
know.
collector, right?
He was a tax collector.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he would repay everybody in full, but if he did somebody wrong, he would pay them back by 4. And I think double was the rule. So if I stole the money, then I would pay it back in double, and I was good. But he wanted to make sure, and he did it by 4.
I could see myself doing what Jacob did, though, to try to, like Alan said, I could put myself in those shoes and still be doing that. That's why I'm like, yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm not saying I have no idea. I'm saying
I don't. I've worked both sides of this, and I don't know.
And
Let me.
I like your
let
perspective.
me.
I do too. I
think
really
you
like
know,
Mark's-
The way you said he was changed.
Yeah.
I think it changes my view that it's not.
It's not a payoff. Yeah.
It's not a payoff.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, in my heart, I could see myself doing that. Like, well, maybe we don't get slaughtered if we do
Yeah,
this.
exactly. I think your perspective, Mark, that you bring to this, it's really refreshing. And I never considered that this was before he wrestled with God, and he changed his name. He's really a different person. It all lends itself really well, and it drains all of my cynicism out of it. Because that's what I do.
You're still in the mind working the old Jacob.
Yeah, I am, absolutely.
And I'm with you. I've worked the old Jacob too. And matter of fact, I really never cared for Jacob. I thought he was.
Me either.
I thought he was a terrible character, you know. And I'm going like, God, why would you take this guy? This is the one, you know. But God knows what He's doing. He uses the right way. Let me give you one more example. When my parents died, and my father was the last to die, that left the farm, and in the trust and the will, me and Randy, my brother, I just have one brother, we were supposed to sell everything and split it within 6 months. And my brother came to me and he says, I don't want to sell the farm. And my brother can take care of himself. He's an Esau kind, not like as Esau back, but he had his own. He's good. He says, I don't want to sell the farm. And I said, I don't either. And I said, I can't buy it. And whatever. And he goes, then take it. So my brother said, take it. Pretty awesome. I'm going like, you know.
What'd you say? I can't take the gifts. And then he said, yes, you can. Then you said, it's too much.
Did that happen?
Yeah, we had that discussion.
Oof.
And I'm going like, I can't. And his reasoning wasn't like Jacob trying to appease me back. That's not what it was is he said, look, you've taken care of Dad and you've taken care of the farm. And he says, I don't need it. I don't want it. You take care of it. Just don't get rid of it.
Probably has all the memories, right?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's not all good. But it's all there. But do you see how that gesture could be misinterpreted by Jacob, and he could have been doing it with the same heart that my brother was, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe that's how come I have that perspective, because I experienced that, so.
Well, and you knew Randy's heart in it.
Yes, I did, 100%. Now, I've dealt with other parts of people that their hearts, I knew the other side of it.
Yeah.
When you thought deeply about last week too, not just how Jacob was, but his heart was probably changed.
It was changed. And, you know, I've said this before, the lady that taught my Sunday school, I don't know why this came up again in my head over and over again. The lady that taught my Sunday school class when I was at Joy, growing up, her name was Nina Ledford. That was her name. And she had four of us in her
Heathens.
class.
Heathens, yes.
4 heathens. me, my brother, and a guy named Grant, and another one named Gerald. Me, my brother, and Grant all became deacons. And, you know, I still pray for Gerald. Because he was a heathen like us. It doesn't matter. I don't know why it keeps coming up in my head. Jacob builds an altar.
I think it matters.
It does. I don't know why it keeps sticking in my head. This is where they were at when they all met, right here, okay? He went a little further, make sure I'm going the right direction, a little further west, because the Mediterranean Sea is over here, so you'll kind of get an idea. So, and this is the Jordan. And they went a little further, he went a little further west, and he stopped, and he built an altar, honored God, and he come up with a new, I shouldn't say every time that they experienced God in a new way, they gave God another name. And the name that he gave him was Elo, just tries to, El-Eho. Say it, Barbie.
L-O-P.
Israel. That's close enough. Which means God, anytime it has E-L, is God, okay? And so God, and there's God again. So God, the God of Israel. You see what he's saying?
So where was he supposed to meet Esau?
Esau went back south. And what was the name of the town? Hang on. Because it was, hang on.
Yeah. Was that it? Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
Sear?
That's cool, you know
I
that.
don't know what it was.
Oh, yeah, it said it in the
Yeah.
passage.
Sear.
S-E-I-R.
Yeah.
That was cool that you remember that.
Okay, so, and that is in Edom, I think, the land of Edom, where that was at, if I remember reading some of my commentary. And it's back south, like down here. Oh, right there. See it? Sir? Right there. But, this is not the end of Esau. Esau shows back up later. We'll talk about that when he gets back. So, he builds an altar. Who was the person that built altars everywhere to start with? Abraham, right? Isaac did some. And then Jacob, now because he's a changed man, what's the first thing he do? He built an altar. Okay? Another expression of showing that he is a new man. He is Israel. Okay? Eventually they get to Shechem, right here, and he buys some land. Do you know why that little part is important? That's one of the claims that Israel is where Israel is at today, because they purchased the land. Not just that God gave them, but he actually had claim, Jacob had claim to the land. Interesting, I'm sorry. So then they all argue about it anyway. So.
Oh, yeah.
Next time, we have Genesis 34, and we have real problems that show up. Real life problems. All right. Any questions that I know I can't answer?
This is cool. We've read a lot of research.
So he was coming back to meet his brother. What was the plan? Because they went separate ways. I mean, I thought that he was coming back to his brother and gonna be with his brother. Is that not?
No, he was coming back to the promised land.
Okay.
It wasn't just, he was gonna meet his brother,
Okay.
but it wasn't, he was gonna meet and live with his brother.
Okay, gotcha.
Right, and like I said, he came, you see this green line?
Yeah.
He came charging up from there, that's where he came from, okay?
That's the line. I can see the red line. I can't see the Esau's line.
Yeah, the green one right here, and it doesn't show up real well.
Okay.
And they meet right there. Remember, this is, and I didn't really make this point. Remember, Jacob had Uncle Laban at his back, because Laban just left him. So he really had no place to retreat if Esau really came to attack. Because I guarantee you, Laban wasn't going to help him. And so when he had his brother in the front, he was in a tight spot. But God put him there on purpose. He wanted him there, to squeeze him a little. Just like God puts us in tight spots, to squeeze us a little.
You know, we talked about that as accepting gifts. And we think of gifts as material things or there, in that case, people. We do the same thing when it's accepting help. we say no.
Had to go there.
I accept all help at all times.
That's why I'm bad at
Well, he doesn't.
He's also lying.
I know, he doesn't, and you two are supposed to be just alike.
I think you're equating accepting with asking. I do struggle with asking for help, but I don't struggle accepting help.
Well, then why do you tell people when they say they'll help you, no, that's okay?
Because that would be asking for help if I said yes.
Oh, my God.
I disagree with that.
You are trying to make your words match
All I'm
what you
gonna
want to be.
say is I was making a plan as I was in the attic with Alan, and all I could hear and see was like this little light flashing around in this hole about this big. And I wasn't real sure how I was gonna explain to the fireman where to cut the roof without getting him, but I'm gonna say, I'm pretty sure no, he's right underneath here, because if you'll stomp, your head squeals. Alan, I still don't know how you got in and out that hole.
He didn't ask for any help, did he?
I offered. I even said, we could run one of them there extendo sticks all the way up through there, right?
Oh, I'm not picking on him because you're just as bad.
Some things you look at and you just say, this is a challenge that I want to accept.
Ah,
I like that perspective.
Is that what you
She
said?
said she doesn't ask for help, and I don't accept help very well. A lot of us in this room don't accept help.
Mhm.
Can I-
We might accept gifts, but not help.
Right.
Can I tell you though, it's a,
Some of it's stupidity,
Yes.
not accepting the help. You don't need to lift a 350-pound something without help. You're gonna wish you hadn't when I'm taking care of you for the rest of your life, which I would, but to me, that's just
But
like,
you-
you don't
but you
do
would-
that.
But
But
she
you
would
wouldn't
remind
miss
me.
out.
but you wouldn't miss the opportunity to explain if you just took help, right?
I couldn't hear, what?
Said you would have never let me hear the end of it as you took care of me for the rest of my life.
That's not true.
She wouldn't remind you, no. But I'm gonna tell you this.
I wouldn't let him do it again. Because I would have learned my lesson though. Doesn't matter what you say, you're good
The
now.
accepting help thing, they call it stoicism.
Call it what?
Stoicism. That means that you're an island unto yourself, independent, strong, and if you ask for help, you're showing weakness. And that is, actually goes all the way back to the people that settled our country. Because they came and they wanted to be on their own and make it on their own. And that's been ingrained in our country since the beginning.
And psychologically too, not
Yeah,
just, not
yeah.
just physically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and it hurts people when they don't, because those that struggle with mental problems won't ask for help, and sometimes early on, it's the easiest thing to do is just have them someplace to talk, someplace to be. Our veterans are a good example, because what are they? They're taught to be, independently. It's a weakness. If you show any kind of weakness, you're failing, and that's not true, But am I in the boat with Alan? Yes, because last year I reworked a swather and I picked up a 300-pound gearbox and set it in the tractor, and then I realized maybe that wasn't the smartest thing to do. So the new one I put it on a chain and set it in there. All right. Anything, guys? I went too long. And by the way, I accepted Alan's gift at my lunch today with no problem. I did. I enjoyed it greatly, even though he was going to tackle me when I jumped up. I sure wish I knew I got excited when I did. I would have really had some fun. All right. Barbie, dismiss us.
Dear Lord Jesus, thank you for this lesson that you've brought to us through Mark today, Lord. Thank you for letting us understand Jacob's side and Esau's side, Lord. And just thank you for everything that we've learned. Lord, just watch over us this next week. Lord, just be with all those that need your healing touch or your loving arms wrapped around them. Thank you again for the baptisms today, Lord, and I just pray that those people would just go out and be a witness for you to others. Thank you for this church. Thank you for all the blessings you pour out upon it. Lord, just thank you for everything you do for us. In Jesus' name I pray.